Reporting live from the murderous streets of the brotherly. Helicopters that hover see everything under the sun here. We under the gun here. Finger on the trigger, can't mistake the stench the way it linger on a nigga, yeah. You got gold you'll find covered here. Where bodies dead, 3 days old get discovered here. You know the place where naughty-haired kids don't get mothered here. Familiar face, failure is fed firsthand. Success will kill your taste. This where they hide it. Once decided, they gon' slight your race. And it's customary to cut your nose so you can spite your face. The cops invade your space with the strong arm. And the wrong arm of the law is cock diesel. It's hard to fight the case. This where they smite his grace and take swigs of sweet sorrow and hopelessness and a shot of pain for the chase. This where the dreams end up as staircase nightmares by the shotgun. This is where the light dares not come. It's dark here, but you feel the heat when hammers spark here. The pen is mighty, but the sword reigns, so watch your talk here. Silhouetted in chalk here. Shots fired, fun deaded, kids running. Look how fast the park clear.
What's been up?
WTFWOTW.
With Rudii Ru.
What up? What up? This is episode 22. My guest this week is a man who's been spreading his words of revolution since 93. He jammed while hella deaf, then took his poetry to Broadway and snagged a Tony with his gang. His love for hip hop brought us standout features alongside Method Man and Pete Rock, and his debut album, The Death of Willie Lynch. Whether it's love or activism, this cat knows how to immerse you in experience with his overflowing fountain of words. He dedicates the same passion when preparing you a home-cooked meal or custom cocktail. But to me, he'll always be that guy I can polish off a jumbo bottle of Jameson with. Let me introduce you to the legend himself, Lamar Manson, AKA Black Ice.
Hey. What's happening, world?
Look at you, playing it cool.
All of those things. I mean, well, you know, I don't know what to say after you gave me that hellified intro like I was Tarzan or something. Made me feel like he was raised by a pack of wolves. He didn't understand that he was a human being until he was 15.
Yes. Does he know?
Sound like a movie phone advertisement. I was like,
in a world.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
I want to see that picture.
Okay. I see you on daddy duty.
I'm a little on daddy duty.
Well, since we, drink together,
What's the
we
deal?
should drink together.
Absolutely.
What you
Yes,
got?
I haven't seen you. I have actually some Pinot Grigio, taking it light.
A little light,
Yeah,
little something light.
And,
I know, I haven't seen you in forever.
Yeah, we haven't seen each other in a minute. We have to change that.
Well, I'm drinking a little red port with you, so let's make a toast. May the best of our past be the worst of our future.
May the best of our past be the worst of our future. Okay, I got it now.
All right.
Cheers.
Cool.
I like that.
You said, hold up.
I don't know what
What's she trying to say?
I don't know. It sounds like what? Am I going to hell?
Perhaps. All right. So I got a little segment called Ice Breakdown where I try to unwrap your deepest and darkest secrets. Are you ready?
Okay.
Now, just a few little rapid fire fun questions. You'll be all right. So, Philly or Amsterdam?
Amsterdam.
Wow. Favorite cuisine?
Spaghetti.
So, Italian? Or just spaghetti
No,
specifically?
Spaghetti.
Oh, that's
Spaghetti.
funny. All right. Best advice you've received from an elder?
Best advice I've received from an elder. Can it be two? Okay, so the first one was from Oscar Brown Jr. And we were in Idlewild, the real Idlewild, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just finished the set, and I knew my set was I knew I tore it up. But my ego said, go ask one of the elders what they felt about that. And it was really like I wanted them to acknowledge that I was a torch carrier. But it was also it was mostly ego driven because I knew that I was a torch carrier. And so I stepped to Oscar Brown Jr., rest in peace. And I said, Baba, what did you think of my set? And he said, young blood, what did you think of it? Because that's all that matters. And I never asked anybody ever again what they felt of my set.
Okay.
And the second one was I was in a very renowned guru. Can't remember his name, like Yogi.
Yeah, that sounds like a guru name.
Russell always had these kind of cats visiting him. And whenever I got around any of these dudes, I always asked them what they felt like the key to life was. And this particular guru said, in his opinion, it was being able to look at a 5-day-old corpse and a newborn baby laying next to each other and see the miracle in both. And then circa probably 2 years later, 3 years later, my daughter, who's now 17, she was born on the morning of my grandfather's funeral. Got to see a newborn baby and a 5-day-old corpse, and was able to see the miracle in the two.
Wow.
So those
Okay.
those are the two most important things.
Climb a mountain or jump off a plane?
Climb a mountain.
Are you scared of heights?
Very.
Okay. 3 adjectives that best describe your character.
Aloof.
Oh, okay.
Silly.
Facts.
Optimistic.
Favorite form of relaxation?
Wow. Sex.
Sex? Yes, please.
The thing is, I was like, oh, he's probably going to say that, but you took so long. I was like, oh, maybe he's grown.
Yeah, I mean, I had to kind of like think about it for a second, but even in all my grownness and all the things that, I could smoke a joint, I could listen to some jazz, all these things are relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
But ain't nothing more relaxing and satiating than some good loving.
Okay, no argument there. Dogs or cats?
Cats.
For real? I fucking hate cats.
Absolutely. Listen, I love dogs. I just don't like picking up shit.
Got it. Yeah.
Can't leave a dog in the house by itself. Come home to a depressed dead dog.
No! God, please, no!
There's a new trend where they're giving plastic surgery to dogs now. So if your puppy was cute but grew up to be an ugly motherfucker, there's hope now. So there's that.
There is no hope because of that.
Craziest place you've had sex? That many, huh? Just give me top 3 then. Oh, wow. Is it like, which one do I say, or it's been a minute? Like, what? It's taking so long.
No, well, maybe it's been a minute too, but you know what I'm saying, but definitely also, like, I've had some adventures. I've had a beautiful love life. I'm trying to think, like, craziest place.
Yeah, like unconventional, like place.
Yeah, like unconventional. Like, well, what's conventional?
Well,
I'm
shit.
an artist, like, so I think.
Okay, what's the most uncomfortable place you've had sex? Let's do that then.
Okay. I would have to say alleyway in the back of Wilhelmina's bar in Philly.
Oh, sounds very crackish.
In the middle of a set, like literally, like I was taking a break. It was like, okay, well, let's go do that then.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. What else were you going to do?
Yeah,
3 minutes you had off.
I'm not ashamed. It was like a Thunder 10.
Yeah. But was it like someone who came to see, who was an audience member that you just gave the nod to? Was it a bar?
No. I'm not that. I'm not trashy. No, it was definitely like.
But had sex in the alley
with someone
sophisticated.
Who was someone who was very near and dear to my heart.
Oh, okay.
It was smutty, but it was smutty with somebody who I love.
Oh, okay. Well, that changes it. And then you went back in and just did your set?
Yeah, jump right back on the mic and just, boom, 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 boom. Probably was a little cooler.
Yeah. Definitely more relaxed. So it is
definitely
more
relaxed.
Your favorite form of relaxation. Yeah. So top 3 MCs from Philly.
Top 3 MCs from Philly?
Mm-hmm.
Tariq, obviously, Black Thought, who is my number 1 MC ever, and my friend.
I'm sorry for your loss. There's somebody dead in the car, and it's probably one of yours.
Then I would say EST.
Okay.
From 3 Times Dope. Man, can we do 5?
We can't, because then it becomes easy.
We gotta do 3. God damn it. And then it would be my man Chemist.
Okay. Do you have a secret talent?
I think, cooking. Most people don't necessarily know that I have developed a skill for cooking. But that's something that most people have not experienced. Luscious Lamar, the food porn star.
Luscious Lamar. This is true, guys. He does go by
Luscious Lamar, the food porn star. It's the whole thing.
The whole thing, yes.
I'm getting the apron made.
You should.
But that's a new love. So that might be, but it's not necessarily a secret because people who.
No, we'll just accept that answer because this is supposed to be rapid fire round and you like.
Okay, rapid fire. My bad. You caught me.
Like being at dinner with you. I'm just playing.
Right, exactly.
What's your biggest weakness?
I procrastinate too much.
And your biggest strength?
My optimism.
Who gave you your first break?
Mark and Sherman Byers. back in like, I want to say 97, maybe 96, 97, they would come through the barbershop where I worked at. And because I was always kind of spitting poetry and shit like that, like poetry was kind of like my thing that I did to vent all the dumb shit that came into my experience as a barber, seeing you on the cusp of Black male America. So I wrote a lot according to that experience, and I was never shy about it because I've always just been an artist. You know, even cutting hair was a show to me. So Mark and Sherm one day stepped to me outside. I was outside the barbershop smoking a cigarette, and then they came up to me like, "Yo," you know, I already knew them. They was like, "Yo, we want to take you to New York to sit you down with an artist we got to sign to Motown, and we want you to write with her." And that was literally my first introduction to the music industry. Those were the two guys. And incidentally, Mark Byers right now is the general manager of Motown Records.
Shout out to them. Most awkward experience on stage dealing with a heckler or technical difficulties?
Ooh, the Apollo.
Famous Apollo Theater, where dreams are born and legends are made, is proud to present It's Showtime at the Apollo.
Did you get booed?
Sometime in like 2002 or 2003, I was, they had the Poetry on Broadway was such a critically acclaimed show that Apollo was like, we want y'all to come and just feature during the regular night.
But that's in
so
between
I get out there,
those who are showcasing themselves.
In between the booze and shit, right. So Monique was the host.
Oh, hell.
And
You skinny bitches.
and I walked up. No, but Monique was cool. You know, it was the fucking audience. You know what I'm saying? You know, like these motherfuckers.
They're professional booers.
Listen, so I went out on stage and I was doing 410 Days in Life. So the beginning of 410 Days in Life goes, when you look at me and my brothers, what's your first impression? And some degenerate from the audience, you know, yelled out, "You ugly!" I said, and it was like the fastest I've ever done a poem on stage in my life. I was like trying to finish, but get out of there. Aww. And by the time I was done, it was on their feet. But that moment there was like for all stages to get fucking heckled on. I got heckled on the Apollo stage, and for a chick to be like, "You ugly," you know, and I'm not the prettiest nigga. You know what I'm saying? TV as well? Yeah, air like a motherfucker.
Okay. On that note, student, athlete, or bookworm?
I was none of the above.
Oh, so what the hell were you? You were fucking. What were you doing?
No, I mean, I was fucking.
Yeah.
But I was just an artist. I joined the debating team because it felt like a show, right? I didn't want to be like I went to public school, so we didn't have no like theater department, you know. So the most we had was talent shows, which I was in every one of them. You know, like me and my man Zeke, we used to dance. Made the grades because I was afraid of my dad, but I wasn't a bookworm. I wasn't an athlete at all. I gave a fuck about sports.
Okay, I accept that answer.
Life is what I'm willing to give for it. I challenge you to find something that's really willing to die for and then live for it.
So what part of Philly are you from?
I'm from North Philly, specifically the Badlands.
So there was another senseless killing at the hands of cops in your town? Walter Wallace next to his mama.
This is where we're going with that. We're gonna dive into that.
Yeah, because we get that out the way.
All right. So I don't know how much racism it was. I think it was 2 white cops that responded to an incident in a black neighborhood, which is not unfamiliar. The young man, as tragic as it was, being shot in front of his mother on his block where he lived at, according to, and it's funny because my cousin is a great cop in Philly. Like, he's a good cop. And my older brother is a firefighter, you know, and my cousin is he's a cop, but he said when the George Floyd thing went down, he was the cat who was like, it's time
to quit.
No, it's time that this happened, because his whole stance on being a police officer is his stance. He wants to be a pillar of his neighborhood, of the neighborhoods where he grew up at. He helps run the police athletic league. He is the cat who runs up on these youngins and tries to give them some other option than being on the streets and being prey to this judicial system. And talking to him about it, you know, because of course on camera it looks like, oh shit, cops shot another black man. You know, he had a knife, but lawyers immediately go to say, oh, he had mental issues. What black man in urban America don't have mental issues? There's not one. We all dealing with mental issues, whether we acknowledge that shit or not. There's some PTSD that's happening. My son is 23 years old and he has buried 13, 14 of his friends. That is not normal. Just because this young man also fathered a lot of kids. So he wasn't that crazy.
Yeah, you could be crazy and have good dick, Lamar. It's possible.
And if you look at the video, he chased these cops down with the knife. That is a deadly weapon.
Well, you have to get closer to the person than with a gun, but it's a weapon for sure.
Rudii, if it was you, if you were a cop.
Yeah, I would have, you know what I would have done?
I'm saying if you were a cop, I know you. If you were a cop and you were the police officer at the helm of the trigger, I would have said, Rudii, you should have put that joker down.
I feel like, because I was looking at, you know how in the UK, they're not allowed to carry guns, right? So there was this other incident where this man was walking on the street with a machete. And again, there were like 3 British cops and he was like swinging. This is a machete. And he was also like huge. But what they did is they called more cops with like shields. And then they just kept walking towards him. And then they, you know, kind of like crowded him and then disarmed him. My thing is, there is a way besides killing the person. Because I don't know the circumstances. I just think it's just it's like the first go-to. It's just weird. The
disparity lies in the fact that we've seen numerous times, too many times to count, when a white man has been brandishing a firearm and pointing it at the cops.
Even shooting in some cases.
And somehow he gets taken alive. And here it is, a young black man yet again.
Wow.
You know, because there are states who don't have this kind of social unrest because the cops are trained differently. These cops have been so trained that, listen, we are the law and they are the enemy.
And they're trained on fear. So
absolutely,
they're very reactionary. So it's kind of like,
so
what do you think of one of the cops that killed Breonna Taylor suing the boyfriend for severe trauma, mental anguish, and emotional distress?
I mean, I think that's the bullshit of America. It's that lawsuit culture.
It's a distraction. So these animals are catching on too. A rooster in the Philippines armed with an ankle blade killed a police chief while he was trying to raid a cockfight. See what I did there? I told you, you're not about to put me in a racism box. We're moving.
So, what happened with the rooster now? The rooster had
an ankle blade, and he killed a police chief. He sliced him in his thigh, so popped a little artery there because he was trying to raid a cockfight. So he's like, "No, fuck you, hater." So that
is some 1,000 ways to die shit right there. Like,
yeah, mind your business. You know, you could have
cockfight. Leave the cocks alone. You know what I'm saying?
Leave cocks. Well, some.
I said, well, the 2 gentlemen outside with the big guns said to come in here. And so I came in, I'm bringing you my passport and piece of paper. She said, well, you shouldn't have come in here. I said, well, okay. But they told me to come in here, and I'm black. And they're the police.
Whoopi Goldberg recently opened up about being told that she wasn't black enough. She said, quote, "I'd get these cards and letters from people saying, why don't you prove to us that you're black? Your idea of black and my idea of black might be different because we're coming at it from different places, but don't tell me mine isn't legit because you don't like it." Did you ever get the impression that Whoopi didn't embrace her blackness?
Never.
Yeah, me neither.
Whoopi is one of the blackest chicks.
Even on The View, she's black. So
she's black as shit on The View. So
one of those people who shared that sentiment was Spike Lee for a while, so they were feuding for years about it.
What's the last thing that nigga made? Was Chirac?
No, he made the Five Bloods movie.
Whatever that shit was.
Okay, we get it. You're not a fan. Okay, we get it.
But I am a Spike Lee fan. Like, Bamboozle is one of the most important films ever made.
Right, but that was like in 92, right?
Doesn't matter.
No, but what I mean is, so that's your point. He hasn't made anything recently that you
I know that nigga made
about.
Chirac, you know what I'm saying? I was like,
yeah, that
5
was
minutes in, I was like, are these niggas rhyming the whole fucking movie?
Yeah, I didn't know it was a musical. I didn't expect it.
Listen.
But he's trying to get out of his box too, Lamar. So
okay, well, Whoopi is black as fuck.
Yes, what period? Point blank. Moving on.
Eyebrows are not
present.
Whoopi Goldberg. The black
black
delegation does not like. We will refuse to trade Whoopi Goldberg.
But you could have a couple of other motherfuckers like Lil Wayne. There's apparently a TLC documentary in the works.
On the T, bar. I'm the leggy. Left eye. I'm the and it be the cheers. And that is on the TLC tip.
Yeah, but between their TV movie, Left Eye's documentary, countless stories about their bankruptcies.
The reality show where they were trying to replace Left Eye and.
So do we feel like there's a piece of their story we do not know that we need another documentary about?
Well, that doesn't matter.
Unless you're about to tell me some new shit like Left Eye is actually in Cuba with Tupac, like there's nothing.
But the whole thing is that there's somebody behind the desk at some that's like, what? I love TLC.
Yes.
Let's do another show, you know, because if I was sitting behind the desk, I'd be like, what?
Yeah, don't go chasing waterfalls. A woman's body was found in a Nashville apartment she shared with her 4 kids, but she'd been dead for 2 years and her body was just chilling under some clothes in the bedroom.
Where was this at?
Nashville, Tennessee. So I'm like, even if
I don't want to be stereotypical, but you know, Nashville, Tennessee got some deep. That's the bayou. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I don't know if that's the bayou or not. I just think all that shit is coming. Yeah, I don't know. I know
like
Rebranded is the bayou. It just seemed like some deep south.
Yeah.
You know, all that's just weird down there. You know, I was down there one time in Eulabelle, Georgia at ex-wife's grandfather's funeral, and was offer me raccoon for dinner.
Yo, but even if your mom dies in her sleep of natural causes, at what point is the solution cool? Let's just leave her there. Like, I don't understand.
At what point are you able to bear
the scent?
The smell.
I think that's what the clothes are there for. Because
it's not even a scent. You can't even call it a scent. It's a stench. It is and clothes collect odor. So to me, only thing what happened was the odor would increase.
But they kept piling the clothes on. That's crazy. But they still don't know if there's foul play. And I'll be like, oh. So I had a conversation a few weeks ago on this podcast with Sandra St. Victor where she expressed she wasn't a fan of these posthumous hologram with artists.
It's creepy. What are they going to start doing? Cloning them next? Fuck that. These people are creepy.
How do you feel about that concept?
But say up until you brought it up?
Okay. I took the stance of it could be a great way for fans to be immersed in the live show experience of an icon they missed out on. But this week, Kanye West gifted Kim a hologram of her dad, giving her a personal message. Her dad died in 2004, but he's talking to her as if it's present day and commenting on her current life.
Happy birthday, Kimberly. Look at you. You're 40 and all grown up. You look beautiful, just like when you were a little girl. I watch over you and your sisters and brother and the kids every day. Sometimes I drop hints that I'm around, like when you hear someone make a big peefee, or when you make a big peefee. Remember when I would drive you to school in my tiny Mercedes every day and we would listen to this song together?
Now, as sweet as that gesture is, I found that shit hella creepy. Wouldn't that be creepy? Like if a dead parent was like, oh man, I'm so proud of what you did.
But you got to take all this shit in context. You know what I'm saying? The key words that you said in this whole
Kanye West?
Right. Kanye, Kim Kardashian.
But that's not her fault. She didn't request it.
It's just it's just a thing of like it's that world. Rudii, don't act like you don't know how retarded that fucking Hollywood shit is.
But in the case of what the fuck is a narcissist savior complex up to now, Kanye says he's building a new city of the future in Haiti because the president gave him an island to develop. Did you hear about that? And I'm like, that's great for Haitians, to have something nice. But then why is he bullshitting around with the US presidential election?
Do you know the land that he owns in Wyoming equals that of Washington, D.C., which is, according to, the way I came up under, a member of the Black Panther Party, and, my pop was real heavy, my mom was real heavy. That's a very powerful thing, land. So there's certain things like this thing is brilliant, which also says, they're in fear of this cat, you know what I'm saying? But then there are other parts where it's like, okay, then you did what? Like what? Big thing. They should have never gave you niggas money.
Yeah.
What I'm supposed to do with my legs, Charlie Murphy?
Clock strikes upon the hour.
Shout out to Whitney Houston for being the first Black artist to go triple diamond, joining the Beatles and Garth Brooks. Now we could celebrate with her because she's a hologram. See?
No.
I'm just playing. Your love for hip hop is evident in your flow as a poet. Why did you just stop at one rap album?
I never had a rap album.
Wasn't The Death of Willie Lynch an album?
It was an album, but I guess it was me rhyming, but...
The question can be rephrased to, why didn't you make a real rap album?
Because that was never my thing. Like, I like to rhyme for fun. I know I let the bars go. I got Best of the Booth on Rap City in 2009. I got the Hip Hop Quotable in the Source. I know I let the bars go. I don't brag about many things, but how I write them words down on paper and stitch them together is one of the things that I can brag about. But spoken word is my thing. It's something about having the complete attention of the audience with no beat, none of that part of showmanship involved, because there is showmanship involved.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a snob about poetry. So if you don't, there's certain intentions that you have to have for me to be a dope poet. Like when you get up on the mic, you have to have the intention of entertaining. You have to have the intention of enlightening. The artist in me won't let me get up on stage and flop. There's a purity in it that's not necessarily in, I know I can rhyme, but I have more fun rhyming when it's just kind of on the fly and it doesn't come out, it doesn't resonate the same.
So can you briefly share either a fond memory or a funny experience you had while meeting one of your heroes or a colleague you admired? I know you got stories. The condensed version, though.
All right. So the first time I met Rakim, until Tyreek's freestyle on Funk Flex, Rakim had the #1 spot.
He was the god.
He's the god. He's the god. First time I met Rakim was at a old school joint in Philly. We were in like the green room. I wasn't starstruck, but I was at a loss for words. I couldn't damn, you peace God. I just it was just, and I've never been starstruck around. I've been around some what people would think were superstars, and I've just never been starstruck. Rakim, I was starstruck. And he says, he tells me he a fan of me, and which, floored me, this, that, and the other, but he has a bodyguard. He has this cat that runs with him, running with him forever, and he is like a monster. And so somebody decided that they was going to take his Moet out his dressing room. And the security cat saw that. So I'm sitting there like talking to Rakim, and my man Bayat, is a North Philly like hustler cat. He was there. So I'm talking to Bayat and talking to Rakim, and out of nowhere, his bodyguard knocks this guy out like cold, one hitter quitter, bop, and he flops over the pool table.
Oh, sure.
And Rakim was like, yo, B, what's up, B? Like, just super cool. Like, he didn't even react like, yo, what the fuck? But he was like, yo, B, like, what? And his man was like, this nigga just tried to steal the God's champagne. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody steal from the God. And the guy was like laid out, knocked out on on the pool table, and I was kind of like, damn, I don't even know how to continue this conversation because you obviously have some aggressive people with you, and I don't want to disrespect you now. So that was one that was like awkward, right? And then there was like a real fan. I was doing some writing with Will Smith years ago, and he had flew me in, and and we was at his house, and he was showing me he showed me around the house, and which is fucking phenomenal. And then we go into his studio, and I was like, listen, for a couple, I just need you to let me get this off my chest, So he was like, what? I was like, oh shit. I said, so I got up and I did the Getting Funky dance, because that was one of the things that shaped my career. It shaped my artistry. There was a point where I went to I think it was the Philly Fresh Fest. Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince were like the opening act, and they had this routine on Getting Funky. You should have seen the people dancing and shaking and moving.
You should have seen the people dancing and shaking and moving and jumping and spinning and clapping.
Blew my mind.
So you did the dance in front of him?
I literally got up in front of Will. I said, you got to let me do this. And I did that shit in front of him. He said, yo, I can't believe you know that whole shit.
Okay, so, but you didn't fuck the dance up. You just...
No, not at all. Not at all. No? I mean, it's been embedded in my head since the first time I saw it.
So he was impressed?
He laughed crazy. It was, and the whole thing was, I said, so I did that. Then I said, I got to apologize. Right before I had went to his house, I went to Brentwood Mall because I'm thinking that I had to wear some old Hollywood shit. I went to Brentwood Mall and I spent like $2,200 on an outfit. Like
that same day?
I bought a pair of jeans that cost like $900, t-shirt that was like $600.
He greeted you in some Hanes sweats.
He had the t-shirt he had on looked like it was balled up in the corner of his bedroom, and he picked it up and put it on. And some raggedy Levi's. And he was the coolest cat I've ever met in the industry is Will Smith. Dope. The coolest, the absolute coolest, like most down to earth was Will. And so I said, I got to apologize because, I came here. I said, I went to the mall and I spent like $2,200, $2,300 on this outfit. And I'm here, and you got I said, you super cool, nigga. Only other industry couple I'd ever been around was Russell and Kimora, and Kimora will chew you out if you got the wrong shit on. So I said, man, I gotta apologize. He said, well, why you apologize? I said, cause I was fronting, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I came here. I came here thinking I had the front, so, and it was funny because he was like, man, that's the realest shit nigga ever said to me. So that was one of the, those are my two moments. I mean, I've had several other moments.
The show is only 40 minutes. But you just brought up Russell. So how did you connect with Russell and the whole deaf poetry platform?
I was winning a competition that was happening at Soul Cafe in New York that was ran by Danny Simmons, Russell's older brother. Mm-hmm. And at the time they were pitching the idea of deaf poetry to Russell and Stan. So they had this, I was winning this competition, so Danny asked me to stop being in the competition and open up for the featured poets that were going to be this final pitch to HBO. And so the featured poets were like Steve Coleman, Jessica Care Moore, Taraji out of Jersey, some cats that I had known about. And so then that's how I met Russell, because they were there, and I opened up for the final pitch to Deaf Poetry that night. And that's when I finished doing my set. I went outside, Russell came outside and exchanged numbers with me. And then, 3 weeks later, I was kind of on my way to being signed to Def Jam.
Dope. So your brand of activism is clearly through your words, but are you also the type to be in the streets if the opportunity lended itself, or are you not with the...
I'm about to work. I'm definitely about to work. I don't necessarily protest and shit like that to me, where they are necessary. Mm-hmm. For me, I like the grunt work. Let me know when y'all ready to overtake some shit, and I'm with you. Thing about protests and things like that is, you have to get permits and so on and so forth, which means you're given permission to gather, which means how much change are you really affecting when they've, so
find the terms.
I think my best fight is with what comes out of my mouth, and also educating, getting with the youth and getting with younger people and inspiring them to be the best that they can be. As cliche as it sounds, the youth is our are our future. So, you know, if you plant the seed in them, you know, I think that's more activism than you can do, you know, writing your emotions on a piece of cardboard and stapling that cardboard to a stick and walking around City Hall like, justice for Lindsay. You know, it's, you know.
You're such an asshole. But have you, in all your travels, have you had any fucked up run-ins with cops yourself that could have like ended another way?
No.
None.
In all my life, I have never had one situation with the police where I felt like my life was in danger, where I felt like they were disrespecting me or harassing me or assaulting me. I've never had that experience. And it's not to negate at all. I know plenty cats who have had that experience. And it's a very real thing.
To hear.
Yeah, but for me, I've never had it, but I think I credit that to my father and my grandfather and my uncles who kind of taught me how to maneuver through the, you know, through the shit. You know, there's a certain way that you can be taught how to maneuver where this is, without question, these are the perils that await you. But if you maneuver in such a way, and that's not a kiss ass way or a tuck your chin way or none of that. Just know how to maneuver because this is what's out there waiting for you. You know, like prison is waiting for you. The fucked up judicial system is waiting for you. These cops that are scared of you are waiting for you to give them a reason to kill you. So this is how you operate along the path of achieving who you are.
Dope. So what is next for Black Ice? What you got coming up? What you working on?
I'm working on some big shit. I can't even say nothing about it right now, but it's.
You can't even say the little shit before the big shit?
I can say that it is my wish and my want to create something that gives spoken word artists something higher to reach toward and something that ignites the industrial revenue of the, you know, of the value of spoken word artists. So that is what I've been working on. Deaf Poetry was the one show that came about that people were uncensored. It was, I absolutely know that Stan and Russell caught a lot of heat behind allowing some of that content to be aired. But it also gave poets, aspiring masters of the art, something to reach for. It was, you know, Deaf Poetry was to spoken word what Deaf comedy was to Black comedy. There hasn't been anything since then. So I felt like it was just kind of my responsibility as one of the so-called stars of that show to carry the torch and create a platform. I'm trying to create something that if Deaf Poetry was just being created now, what would it be? I'm also about to record Russell Simmons' new book, the audio. I'm the voice of all of his audio books. Eat to Live is his new book.
Do you use your regular talking voice or do you have a special Russell voice you use?
No, I just use my regular talking voice.
Sounds promising. Yeah. So you got to drop your socials for the listeners real quick then.
Yeah, my social media handles, and don't get mad at me if you follow me on social media because I'm not really that engaged in that, which I know, but it's at the Legendary Black Ice on Instagram. They have the Black Ice fan page on Facebook. Twitter is Black Ice the Poet.
So we've covered a lot. Any last words?
Love. I just stress everybody to love. Be accountable. You know, my mom always told me, my father always told me, own your shit. It's the only way you grow is to own your shit and see the beauty within yourself.
I'll say this is by far the longest serious conversation you and I have had. I don't know if you're trying to be on your best behavior as you cradle your chest, you know?
No, I'm just like old and tired.
But, it's like an NPR interview, but it's fine. But I do want to thank you for accepting my virtual invitation.
Oh man, I appreciate you hitting me up and asked me to be a part of it. I never knew, that I had any that was relevant to modern day.
Well, I'm not saying this doesn't mean you're relevant. It just means
you're
relevant to me.
You're like my homie. You're my homie, you know. So it's all good.
So you're definitely going to be introduced to new people. You know, I got folks in obscure places. But I do have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
What did the hurricane say to the palm tree?
What did the hurricane say to the palm tree?
Even now he's serious, this guy.
Move, bitch, get out the way.
Almost. He said, hold on to your nuts, because this is not your usual blowjob.
Ah, I like that.
I like that.
I like that.
Say bye to the people.
Hey, world, goodbye. Thanks for having me and all of these things. And yeah.
Thank you for listening. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the heck up out of here. Please be a friend. Tell a friend. Subscribe. Do something with your life. Catch you next week on
WTFWOTW
with Rudii Ru.